raro se siente estar aquí de nuevo. ¿Qué onda, gente? ¿Cómo están? Bienvenidos. Estaremos jugando The Stanley Parable.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Era.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Siento que aquí es muy importante tener los subtítulos porque es el que nos va a decir todo. Es ok. Fuerza, como me
Stanley
gusta.
stood for a long time in one spot. It's part of a game. He likes to see how long he can go without dying. So far, he's doing excellent. And if he just stays right where he is, I'm sure he'll keep up that good momentum. Let's observe the genius at work.
Ah, vaya. Uy, ahora sí.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Voy a tocar todo lo que pueda tocar. A mí me re gusta estar tocando cosas. Ah. Username access. Yo apagando todo porque soy el más rebelde de la vida. Tururururururun.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ok, primero vamos a hacerle caso. Y luego hacemos una sin hacerle caso. Como habíamos quedado. Entonces sí, pues más padre, ¿no? Más chidori.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Take it out, passive aggressive. Another worker. What? Using Slide to show your players that everything is okay. Make sure that your slice has a slick blue graphic in the hair that shows some blue. The text will ensure it's a component. What? Everyone is unique. You most of all. Dice, ¿cómo mantener a los... cómo no ser despedido de la empresa? Y el otro decía, ¿cómo mantener la atención de la gente en estas weas?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Si caminamos upstairs. Hay 3 caminos ya diferentes que podemos tomar aquí. Vamos a ver si está prendido. No. Ya que hay. Está cerrado el baño, güey. ¿Cómo va a hacer pipí? Ok, no hay nada.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Esto me salió un puntito aquí y ya no sale. Interesante, ¿eh? ¿Puedo tocar algo? ¡Déjame tocar algo! Disfruta mientras te hago caso, voz del más allá. Disfrútalo. Así que justo estabas empezando. Sí, llevaba como 2 minutos. ¿Todo bien? ¿Todo correcto?
Deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
¡Ah! Ok. Dale, Pau, dale. Aquí andamos, aquí andamos. Es interesante.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Este juego tiene muchas buenas, muy buenas críticas al respecto. Por lo ingenioso del diseño. Entonces dije, oh. Todos trabajando mientras vemos a LAnzt como debe ser, joder. Estoy orgulloso de todos ustedes. He creado una buena comunidad. Aunque soy más inactivo que algo muy inactivo. Pero cuando vengo, estoy feliz.
On an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
No, no tengo la fuerza para averiguarlo, pibes. ¡Lo siento! ¡Ah! Y corro así, hacia el horizonte. Oh, botoncito.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
¿Cuál era nuestro número de empleado? El 427, ¿no?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe.
4, 2...
Stanley really been under someone's control
Ahí.
all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his
Porque hay un archivero ahí.
that his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Este es nuestro monitor.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was
Never.
unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
What?
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Yo, apágate. No sirve el de apagar, mi gente. ¿Cómo rompo esto? Console disable. Offline. Power facility. Puedo bajar ahí, ¿no? Efectivamente, mi gente, no hay nada. Puedo ir ahí arriba también. ¿Qué es eso? A ver. Uno y dos. ¿Y ahí arriba qué hay? ¿Ese era el 3? Cuatro. Ah. Ah, ya está el 3. Ok. No puedo correr ni nada, ¿eh? Solo puedo caminar y activar cosas. Bueno, y agacharme. Fuck, me equivoqué. Espérate. Ese era el... Ajá, mira, aquí está el 3. A ver, entonces es... 1, 2. Vamos al 3. What the fuck. Aquí está el 3. Luego va el 4 hasta allá arriba. Y luego el 5 que está hasta allá adelante. Tuvo un sonido diferente, ¿no? El 1. No estoy seguro, ya estoy delirando. Y 5. Ya no hay una extra ni nada. Pues no. My controls idle awaiting input.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Mi gente, debo prenderlo. No, ok, vamos a... Dijimos que le íbamos a hacer caso una vez. Y ya, se acabó. Créditos. ¿Se imaginan? Y así Stanley fue libre para siempre.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
Ah,
Was it over?
sí.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
Sospechoso, ¿eh?
Yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone?
Ajá.
Had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
Ajá.
Which other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze on his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Completar el juego. Ah, pues sí, se acabó. Se fue a la ver. Ah, ok, bueno, te me cuidas. De nuevo estamos aquí para explorar las otras opciones. Ahora vamos a hacer los más rebeldes. A ver. 4, 3, 5. 4, 3, 5 tenía una compu. 4, 2, 4. Muchos números, ¿eh? Ah, input received. Eso es nuevo, ¿eh? Eso no estaba. La primera vez sí me dejó colocarlo. Ok, primera decisión diferente. A la derecha, nadie me va a controlar.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
No puedo abrir ninguna puerta, ¿no?
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Coffee, tal.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Oh no. ¿Y aquí? A4. Do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ok. Ok, es completamente muy diferente. Peligro. No saltes del peso del cargo mientras esté en movimiento. Puede causar la muerte. Penalty for jumping. Pena por ¿Qué?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Creo que hemos empezado con el
I'm
pie
not your
izquierdo.
enemy, really.
Yo no soy tu hermano, de veras, no lo
I
soy.
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but
Me puedo
you
aventar ahí,
all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Como que forger, hijo de todas tus
This is
300,000.
it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Huh.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith
Okay.
in another, then pick up the phone.
Esto ya se puso muy raro, banda.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
¡Te odio!
Their life to you. I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Lo voy a asesinar, ¿eh?
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Presione J en su teclado.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Ah.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home.
Quiere que lo asesine, ¿eh?
He's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
No importa que presione, ¿eh? Tengo que darle a lo que me dice.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures.
Okay.
From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job.
What?
First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Esto se está poniendo bien raro, mi gente.
He went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and
¿Te estás jugando con tu mente bien, cabrón?
Down
Sí,
one
ya estoy bien
path led a
ciberpsicoseado.
dense round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was
Solo
a
una
yellow
línea
line
amarilla
that
que
read
apuntaba a
many
muchas
directions.
direcciones.
And down another was a game with a baby.
Abajo había otro
And
juego
he
con un
called
bebé.
it the Stanley Parable.
Ah.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Decirle a su esposa que la ama. Aquí no estaba el refri.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons.
4:27.
Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is.
¡Suéltame!
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Lo quiero presionar, banda.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Ya me está regresando a la... Me está regresando a la pantalla de
I
inicio.
suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Por favor, muera.
And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I
What the fuck? Está bien random, mi gente. Ok. Tercer intento. Un teléfono sonando. A mi derecha, pero suena digitalillo. ¿Eh?
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I forgot. Thanks, sweetie. See you tonight.
Ok. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bienvenido. No creo pronunciarlo bien de nuevo. 98. ¿Cómo estamos? A ver, aquí, si apago esto. Ah. Awaiting input. Input received. Llevo 2, ¿no? Esa no es la misma, es otra compu de las que prendí. Se ve diferente.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, ay, te digo que la potencia de las PCs se marean
This
machín.
was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
A ver, quiero saltar y que me multen.
Stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Entramos aquí.
Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having
La vida sin embargo que ahora
experienced
esta
this
habitación.
room was now too horrible even
¿Es lo
to
mismo que dijo la
consider.
vez pasada? No estoy seguro, ¿eh?
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Sí soy. Yo el más antisocial en mi oficina.
But eager to get back to business,
A ver.
Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Quiero ver qué pasa si sí salto desde la plataforma.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Porque dice que me multan y esa madre, la de ahí, es perfectamente una salida. Entonces, a ver.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you
Espera.
all this time. There's someone you've been
Espera.
Someone...
Ahora.
What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration inspiration for others?
Sí, me vale verga.
Convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Sí.
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful.
Danger everywhere.
Let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
No lo sé, Rick. 2v1. Pero, ¿nunca la vinculaste o qué? Estoy de tu lado, dice el pibe que me hizo una identidad falsa y asesinó a mi esposa falsa.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
No me importa.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
No me importa.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ok.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time?
No lo sé,
The problem
Rick.
is
No lo
always
sé.
choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
No. 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 No me va a dejar ir, ¿verdad? Me voy a quedar aquí. El tiempo que sea necesario. Ay, bueno, está bien, voy a entrar. Ah.
What do we want? What are we looking for?
Rarísimo, ¿no?
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
No.
If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Raro, ¿no? Adri, ¿cómo está? Bien, anda en la oficina. Les estaba contando que esta es mi semana de vacaciones, entonces hay que aprovechar.
No, wait. Where are you going?
Ya me voy, pibe. Gracias por la comida, estuvo rico y todo.
Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Lo siento, pibe.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Lo siento, pibe. Nunca fue mi intención que fueras feliz. Adiós.
No! Oh, thank God.
De nuevo.
Lived. No, no, no. What are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
¡Quiero ser libre!
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it?
What?
Literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
No.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore.
Ya, solo quiere que nos llevemos bien. Pero supongo que eso era mucho pedir.
It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours. Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it?
Reiniciar, sí, puede regresar. What?